Hey guys, welcome back as always. My name is TechZar, and today on the bench we have something that every household should have. A screwdriver. Or technically multiple screwdrivers, but not just any old screwdriver. We're talking about the Xiaomi Wowstick 1F Plus, and this is a electric screwdriver, essentially making your life a whole lot easier. It's aimed at the more finer of electronics, the type of user that would build his own keyboard, or perhaps you want to build your own computer, open up a display, a phone, and so on and so forth. This is the kind of product that you are looking at to make your life a whole lot easier. But before we go anywhere else, I'm pretty sure you're curious to see what's inside the box. And what greets you first is this IM screw pad. You can open it like so. Nothing else. Now this, my friends, it's magnetic, which is fantastic because it's gonna be able to hold all of your screws in one place while you actually work. It looks really good and it's gonna be extremely useful as well. More so over in the box, I'm assuming this is where the actual screwdriver is, though this feels a little bit too light for the screwdriver, and it says here's I'm a case. You open it from the side like so. Nothing there. You pull on this. Everything is extremely well packaged to the point where redundancy is a thing. This is a case, huh? It feels very squared off, very interesting. So you can rip it apart here. Oh, this is a new case. I saw unboxing vids of this before, but I never seen any of these. This is a plastic case. There's no cushioning or anything of the sort. It's straight plastic on plastic, but it's nice to have. So you're gonna be able to keep your screwdriver here alongside the magnetic pad that we got earlier. I'm a toolbox. Let's see what we got inside. This is going to be your charging case. Oh, I see. So this is USB Type-C. In all of the variants that I have seen up until this point, these were always micro USB. Apparently, this is an updated version of the Wowstick that comes with USB Type-C. Now, this is a suction cup. These suction cups are essentially used for phones displays. This is one of such use. What you can do is take a phone, put the thing on, try to suck it off, essentially, basically. And while you're prying at the side with a little pry tool, which I believe we also have in the package. Yes, this is your pry tool. Again, when it comes to opening up displays, something like this is ideal. Magnetize and demagnetize tool. This is for your screwdriver bits. If you want to magnetize something, you run it through the middle. If you want to demagnetize something, you run it through the top. This is extremely useful, especially when you don't want to drop your screws. Fantastic that they included this one. And lastly, there's a little jar, which I do love. And this little fantastic jar, look at this. You get these little screws. I love small touches like this. This is not very expensive for them to make or include in the package, but these small touches matter a whole lot. So for example, if I take a couple of screws and I simply plant them on my magnetic thingy, look at that. Absolutely freaking fantastic. This thing will help me out so much. You know, when you're trying your hardest to unscrew something and then it drops on the ground and for a second you are as quiet as you possibly can be, just to make sure you hear in which direction that guy went. No more with something like this. This is fantastic. I love this. Awesome. I'm a base. Nothing else. Everything is individually wrapped. Beautiful. Oh, wow, this feels of premium. There's no questions, no buts about it. On the base here, you got something a little bit, it's not rubber per se. And I think, oh wait, it's a coating. Hold on, so I thought for a second it's not rubber, but actually what you have here is a plastic protector. And there you have it. Now you have yourself a base which, oh yeah, that's not going anywhere. It's extremely stable, I love it. I'm a dual power screwdriver. What? This is the screwdriver? This is the actually it? It feels so light. Nah, No way this is the actual screwdriver. It is the actual screwdriver. It feels so light, it's unbelievable. Yes, the same material as before. Feels extremely plush. You get a little bit of branding, Wowstick, USB Type-C. So you know this is the updated version. The thing is, it's got a little rattle to it, however. There are front and back. The problem with the screwdriver is the fact that you cannot control the speed of the actual rotation. You got all the way to full or backwards. That's a bit of an issue if you want to go slow. Some electric screwdrivers have the possibility of controlling the speed of the rotation. And I do believe this one sits right here. Now, it would have been nice if you could actually charge it with this base. If you would have had some way to connect the USB Type-C to this one and then for it to automatically charge, that would have been great. I'm Bits Group X2, the second Bits group. Tons upon tons of bits. Essentially, mostly everything you need in terms of bits will be included here, and you can pause the video right now to see if what you need is actually included or not. Now, I heard some complain about the caps, and you know what? I think I'm gonna join right in. This is a rubber cap. Uh-oh. Well, so much for quality. You see that? You know what that is? I'll tell you what that is. That's rust. That is, honest to God, rust. How exactly am I supposed to get this out? I don't know. Okay. Okay, so this is how you get, look at this. Okay, so this is, by all intents and purposes, rust. Well, Xiaomi, it was great up until this point. Here's the bits and their little rubbery spaces, which are not overly firm and they don't hold them very well. Not fantastic. Definitely not fantastic on this one. It's a nice idea, but a pretty poor execution. Especially if you already got rust. So we started with X2 simply because that was the one that I managed to grab onto first. Let's see if this one has any rust. It's essentially the same style of packaging, and you can pause the video right now to see if the bits you are looking for are included in the box. Again, when it comes to the actual inclusions, I feel it's pretty good. Oh, okay, you can do it this way. And now they come out. Much easier. Less issues with this one. So that's a good thing. And this is the last one. I love the fact that they included longer bits. This is gonna make your job a whole lot easier on the right job. And once again, you can pause the video to see if the bits you are looking for have been included in the box or not. And now, since we know how to open them, we're just gonna do this. Nice and easy. On the top, any rust? Not on that one. Not on this one, so essentially just the X2 was an issue there. I'm gonna get myself some WD-40 and clean it right up. Yes, you can clean rust with WD-40. And what's left inside the box? Not that this wasn't enough, but still all you got is a little bit of information. So these three will fit in quite nicely. Let's see if we can fit the actual tool as well. Yes, this will fit. This will not fit. You can't put this one in, but your cable should be able to fit. Your magnetizer and your little tool, so essentially you can do something like this or not. There, can stay flush like this, but the problem is there is nothing to hold on to this, so it just kind of plugs on there. There's really not a whole lot to say about a screwdriver, but I do have a couple of things that I can say. First of all, I do love the product and I think it's fantastic and it helps out a whole lot, especially if you're the type of individual that likes to mess around with his own keyboards. For example, you want to build your own keyboards, you build your own computer, you mess around, you open up your phone, your laptop, and so on and so forth. Electronics in general, and I mean consumer electronics, this is definitely the kind of thing for you. For the more finer of jobs, not something overly tough. In that case, get yourself your power drill and you're gonna be all good. I'm gonna give you an option later on for that one as well. Now, what I love about this one, it has the LED. The LED is fantastic for seeing exactly what you're doing. For example, I can pick up a keyboard and just use the LED to see, hey, where exactly do I need to go? Is there a black screw, a matte black screw that you can't actually see the grooves until you get with it and all whatnot? That's absolutely fantastic. You can also use it in normal mode, so you can start off unscrewing in normal mode and then continue normally. And again, those last couple of screws, just so you can feel exactly by hand, hey, how tight is this screw? I don't know about you, but I have an issue. I over tighten things very often. So if you actually want to feel the torque in your hand, you can go for the last couple of screws manually. I read a couple of reviews on Amazon. Apparently some of them have a rattle. This one has a rattle as well, an internal rattle, so something came undone within it. It has no functionality issue. It charges fine, it works fine, but it does have a rattle, and if it does have a rattle, then in my opinion you should definitely exchange it for a new one. Can you hear that? Something came loose within it. It has been like that ever since I first grabbed it. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but you can feel that something's going around inside, and that's definitely not ideal. If you get something like this, again, if you read reviews over on Amazon, there are other people that suffer from the same issue. I would return it and get a new one. Essentially what this wants to be is a premium product. It wants to give you the fancy schmancy unboxing experience and show you that, hey, this is above average. This is a really cool and nice product. But that whole nice feeling goes out the window when the bits leave rust residue on your hands. Not only that, it is awfully rattly, which simply screams of cheap. It does look fantastic, it feels fantastic, and I'm hoping you're gonna be getting a better unit, but for me, this has been a semi-disappointment, especially if I take into account the wobbly stand. The stand feels fantastic, firm, solid, and it's got a bit of a anti-slip base as well, but we should have had some magnet to lock this in place or something of the sort. It just simply wobbles around. It's not the premium experience it wants to sell the user on. When it comes to the actual usability, the usability and functionality and usefulness of a electric screwdriver, yes, it's very useful because it screws and unscrews stuff and it makes your life a whole lot easier, and the functionality cannot be faulted. The torque this one has isn't something fantastic, but it's gonna be getting the job done. It torqued my keyboard screws good enough to the point where I didn't feel I needed to go back in and retorque them. I kind of felt it out in the manual mode, so it did a pretty good job. It looks fantastic on your desk. It is a sleek product, but unfortunately it looks like it does have some quality control issues. If you're gonna search up online, I'm not the only one facing that kind of an issue. And if you're gonna be paying 50 to 60 bucks for such a product, then I would expect a bit more. However, I do have a couple of options for you. Let's say you want something a bit more rough, a bit more tough. This is too dainty, not powerful enough for you for the exact same price. From Bosch, you're looking at the push drive. This is something that I've been using for the last 2-3 years around the house, essentially everything around the house, from repairing doors to down at my car, taking the bumper off. Essentially, I use this for everything. I'm just gonna give you a brief overview. Again, this is an option if you want something a bit more rough and tough that can take a beating and is significantly more powerful. This is the Bosch push drive, and I can wholeheartedly recommend it. I've been using this around the house a whole lot. Here's a comparison to the Wowstick. Yes, obviously the length is kind of the same, which is weird because wherever I can get this one in, I can kind of get this one in as well. This one, again, a bigger battery. It has more torque, definitely. It can be controlled by going forward or backward. In the central position, you can see how much battery you still have in it. And most importantly, with this one, I can actually control how fast it spins depending on how hard I push on it. If I push a little easy on it, it spins easy. If I push harder, it begins to torque faster. So I can actually control the spin, which is very important when it comes to an electric screwdriver. In the center position, this one turns to manual mode. And you get a cable to charge it. It's a micro USB. You also get an actual charger per se. You also get a ton ton of bits and an extender as well, which is extremely useful to get into those tight spaces. And that's kind of it. And the price is essentially identical, at least for me, with the Wowstick. 55, 56 euros. So if you want something more rough and tough, definitely go for the Bosch push drive over the Wowstick. But let's say, hey dude, I'm not gonna pay 60 bucks or 60 euro, whatever, for an electric screwdriver. Well, in that case, I got a little bit of something for you as well. My friend, for 5 to 10 bucks, that's right, 5 to 10 bucks, you can get something like this. This is your standard screwdriver kit, and you're gonna be having all the bits that you need, from the smallest to the largest that you're going to be needing for your consumer electronics. As before, you're going to be getting yourself a couple of pry tools, a magnetizer slash demagnetizer. If you flip it on over to the back, what you got here, a couple of pry tools to open up different plastic housings. You got the same suction cups, an extender, the actual screwdriver itself that can take whatever bits. And this, my favorite tool of all, this is a flexible extender to get into those hard to reach places. From Amazon, you can get a set like this for around 10 bucks. So if you prefer the manual approach, there are definitely options. And I do believe, my friends, that is pretty much it. As always, my name is TechZar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe only if you enjoy the content. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.